start recording, so I don't think it actually got your thumbs up emoji is old bit.
Yeah, apparently thumbs up emoji. Also, the crying, laughing emoji. That's for old people.
I'll be honest. I knew that. I knew that because God, this was years ago. When I was working as my very first job as a therapist, my boss because back then we used to text about not client info, but like I need you here, I need you there, that kind of thing. She would only ever respond to what I said in the thumbs up emoji, and it drove me fucking nuts. And like I knew her name was Erin. I knew Erin didn't mean anything by it. Like she was honest to God, she was super busy. I get it. She needed one button click of I hear you or okay, and that's just what she did. But it still drove me nuts because it like if I feel like even if you did that in person, like you say this very long, complicated thing of like, okay, I need to do this, whatever. Do you think that's okay? And then you just look at them, no facial expression, and give them a thumbs up and walk away. You're like, I did kind of actually want some input on that. Thank you. And my mom does the exact same thing, but she has like an Apple Watch and they have like automatic replies built in.
Sure.
And I have like memorized a couple of them that just infuriate me. There's one that's just like, okay, thanks, see you soon. And I'm like, that did not. And my mom uses it at like the most inappropriate times. Like, Mom, I'm about to pick up something at the store. Like, what do you think I should get? Thanks. Mom, what the? What does that mean? What does that mean? Am I crazy?
My mom will just reply with okay a lot, like just no period, no nothing. And I don't read anything into that. It's probably just like she doesn't feel like typing or whatever. But it's still kind of a boss move when I think about it.
My mom does the same thing, and it's like I know my mom doesn't mean anything by it. It's just definitely that. The crying eyes emoji and like all the like there was like a whatever came out and it was like all these old emojis. I'm like, yeah, that's when emojis first came out, those were just the most popular ones. And now that there's like a billion fucking emojis, the kids have moved on to different ones and their parents use this and that's that. So I get it. I don't know. It makes sense to me.
To me, the crying laughing emoji is fire. I don't care what anybody says. Like that one still goes hard. But if the kids in the comments want to let us know, in lieu of said emojis, like what do you do instead of the crying laughing emoji?
Well, yeah, the current popular one is if something's super funny, you send the skull.
Like like dead. Yeah.
That's the current popular one.
That one's okay. That one's fine.
I find myself using that one a lot, and I every time I use it, like I'll like use it and send it and go, oh fuck, that was. I'm probably not the person to use that, but I just keep doing it. I don't know.
I don't have any problem with that one. It's not. I don't think it's quite as expressive, but it's good. That's a good one. So there's no replacement for thumbs up, though, right? Thumbs up is just. You gotta let that one go.
Yeah, I think you gotta let that one go. I've also seen the heart.
Wait, what about the heart? We're replacing thumbs up with heart?
Yeah, I've seen that one where like you say a very long sentence and you're like, oh great, love that. Thanks for posting all that bullshit. I've definitely looked at this, and you send a heart. I've seen that one.
Oh, I don't like the heart. The heart's too romantic. That's too intimate. I can't do the heart. The heart's that's a little like I'm sending hearts to my girlfriend. That's it. Nobody else is getting hearts. I'm not doing hearts.
See, I will say that I'm in the unique perspective of my husband Michael, who's sitting behind me. Hi, sweetheart. And trying to ignore that I'm talking about him behind his back. He hates technology and refuses to use any emoji, and so like we just never. One, we don't really text very often. But like I don't think I've ever seen him use an emoji, so I don't really send him hearts. I don't really do any of that stuff. But we are of the generation that will use the I forget what they're called, where like the less than 3 sign. Like we'll do that shit.
Heart.
Heart. Yeah, we use the shit before emojis, and we're very comfortable with that.
I like the text smileys. Like I'll still drop it equals close parentheses.
You did for me earlier when we were talking on Google Chat.
Fuck yeah, that's old school. I'll do that 100%.
Yeah, I'm still I'm quite fond of semicolon 0 semicolon. I don't know. I like
Another
that.
good one. I mean, as a huge fucking geek and basically a dweeb, XD for the. I'm not letting go of XD. I don't use it anymore, but that's so old school.
I went to cringe on XD when I was young, so I can't do it. What the fuck are we talking about
We
today?
all did. Caitie, it was 2003. We were on pro boards. We all went nuts with XD. We all did it as millennials.
I know we went too hard, but I'm saying I flew too close to the sun, and now it hurts my heart to think about it.
That's why I don't use it anymore either, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But we probably should get back on the topic of today.
In the comments, kids, let me know what emojis are the hot emojis now that we should be using. Not that I'm going to use them because I like being old, but just for my own knowledge, I'd like to know what's out there.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I see it on Twitter all the time. So I think okay, if I could guess, my 30-year-old tries to guess hot teen slang. It's the current popular ones are if you're laughing, you do the skull. Upside down smiley face for when things are terrible.
Yeah, it's like pain.
Yeah. The melting face is really popular. Same usage almost.
Mm-hmm.
God, what's another one? I feel like a lot of the more like newer emojis are what's popular right now.
The crying smile, that's out there.
Yeah, I've seen that one. Trying to think of like what else. I know the heart's popular.
We know all the negative ones because that's just the mood of Twitter, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
All right. Well, there's Dragon Age stuff to talk about. Kind of. We're a little late to it, but you know.
God, are we fucking late? Yeah. So, almost a month ago. Yeah, I also want to apologize. I moved, and I also am recovering, which you'll hear me cough. Maybe Jordan's trying to edit it out, and I'm probably making his job harder when I do that. So I am just perpetually sick with the toddler now. So yeah, I've been delinquent on a lot of stuff. So we never really got to talk about. There was a Bioware blog, the Bioware community update or whatever I think they're calling them now. It's mostly it's titled "Writing Our Worlds," and so it's a lot about. I say a lot. It's a little bit of a fluff piece. You know what I mean? Just like, oh, we're thinking about doing. What's it called? Oh no, words. Marketing. There it is.
Oh, there it is.
We're thinking about doing marketing for our games now. Remember, we exist. I feel like that's kind of what it is. They do have a kind of a mini interview with Sylvia Federici and Ryan Cormier. I think it's pronounced.
Mm-hmm.
I also hope I pronounced Sylvia's last name right. God help me. Today's just not a good day with last names.
We're doing our best.
Yeah. But so they're Ryan is a narrative editor and Sylvia is a senior writer. She also was on Inquisition and she wrote Josephine and there's other things, but I know Josephine's like the big character name that everyone's going to recognize. And included in their little interview were actually 3 future codex entries for the next game. Mm-hmm. Jordan, tell me about what you've read on here.
Oh, I mean, I went through it very quickly on the codex entries and in a bit of the interview. I don't know that I would have any off the top of my head observations about the codex entry, only that I like how they're sort of the fact that it's about misconceptions and they're sort of changing maybe things that have been shared before, but in universe, I just think is cool.
Yeah. So yeah, the big one. So there's 3 of them. It's misconceptions about the Necropolis. I should also say like some things were crossed out of the codex entries and are scribbled over. That looks like an MS Paint crayon almost.
Probably what, like a party member's name potentially? Maybe.
I don't know. We'll get to that in a second. But there's like a orange scribble over blank. So blank talks Dragon Vinsomer, which Vinsomer was one of the dragons in Dragon Age Inquisition. And then the last one is the Randy Dowager Quarterly, Volume 3. That one, let's talk about that one first because it's more just like funny. So the Randy Dowager is the in-lore Playboy? Not quite. That's not it.
Maybe Penthouse. It's like a naughty magazine, I guess.
Well, it's a naughty magazine, but it's not pictures. It's like naughty stories. It's like this is Thaddeus's version of Archive of Our Own. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right.
So it's just like naughty. Oh,
Smut is what it is.
Yeah,
It's
it's kind
smut.
of. But I also, I guess they don't really explain it well, so I don't know if it includes the stories or if it's like this woman. I say woman. It's actually Brother Genitivi is the Randy Dowager. Fun facts, but yeah, I don't know if it's just like reviews of naughty books or it also includes the naughty books. But yeah, it's just a fun little story about, I don't know. It's a review of a naughty book in Thedas. There's not much to say there. It's just kind of funny. If nothing else, like, okay, so there was a story in Dragon Age Dementor Knights. There it is. About called Genitivi Dies at the End, which is kind of a play on it because he doesn't actually die at the end. And he talks about, not he, but it's about three of the Codex writers, and one of them being Genitivi. And they obviously did not die at the end, but at least they're like the Randy Dowager, who is Brother Genitivi, which you find out at the end of that story, is still alive and kicking and writing stories. So I'm sure we'll still get Brother Genitivi Codex entries, which will lead us on to the next one, which is misconceptions about Necropolis. There it is. It's been a while since I haven't recorded a damn thing for my channel since probably 2 months. So
Dang, has it been that long?
Yeah, all of September was just moving and unpacking. I did not do it. We actually didn't get internet in our apartment for like a long time.
Wow.
Just because of stupid reasons. So I didn't even set up my computer. I had like no desk for a month. Because I just didn't bother putting it together.
Was it a nice break though? Does it feel kind of refreshing or no?
It's nice because of some reason. Like I got a lot of shit done. On the other hand, it's a little bit stressful because like I want to do content, but this is a really real moment we're having in between the conversation that we're supposed to be having.
It's I mean, at this point, it's split the veil. I mean, dude,
oh God.
On the Randy Dowager. I mean, I was holding my comment on the Randy Dowager Quarterly Volume 3, but let's not let's not go off on too many tangents at once. So you moved. It's great.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, but we fixed them. I'm now just slowly getting back into where I was 2 months ago, work wise. And that's that. So I'm a little unused to doing these things. So yeah, I'm kind of trying to find myself of like, what the fuck am I doing? Where do I? So yeah, if I'm like going in and out, again, I'm so sorry. I'm trying my best.
Randy Dowager Quarterly.
Yeah. What did
earlier I was going to call Brother Genitivi like the Ken Burns of Dragon Age, but apparently he's also the Hugh Hefner of Dragon Age.
Okay, I'm just gonna be real. I cannot place who Ken Burns is at the moment.
Isn't he? He's a historical documentarian guy. Like
that sounds familiar. I just cannot recall any other information about.
I mean, I don't think I can cite the titles, but isn't he like the fucking History Channel? Maybe it's not History Channel, but like historical documentaries. I feel like that's the name.
That sounds right. Yeah, I just don't know if I've seen any of his stuff.
It's like trying to quote a composer for films and just being like, oh, John Williams, like, et cetera, et cetera.
Woo.
But the fact that he's both, the fact that he's also Hugh Hefner is pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was a really funny moment in the short story that came out a while ago.
Chronicling the history of Hose and Thedas, which is pretty impressive work.
You're doing the maker's work there. Oh God. Okay, so going on the misconceptions of the Necropolis. This was the most interesting one, for reasons we'll get into in a second. So this one, it's basically just saying that Brother Genitivi doesn't know shit about Nevarran. It's not really so much new information because we learned a lot of this in Dementor Knights and how things looked in Down Among the Dead Men, also by Sylvia. So I wouldn't say that this is super new to people who've read the books. If you've only played the games, they're just trying to say that, like, the Grand Necropolis is They I actually tried to look it up to see because the writer in here mentions Brother Genitivi saying a couple things. I tried to look up like, is there a codex entry he's referring to that says those things? I could not immediately find it. So I don't know if there's another codex entry that talks about them locking up the dead and playing dress up with corpses and stuff that they say in quotation marks here.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the writer is describing that like there's almost like a little city underneath the ground of the dead walking very peacefully, and they're not locked in there. They can just kind of do whatever the fuck they want, and they do. And it's just kind of a very peaceful little existence for them. And not everyone walks around. Not all the corpses walk around. They're just all possessed and chilling out and having a good time. And you're like, oh, that sounds horrifying. But the two most interesting things are at the end, where it has two scribble marks, with the quote being, "Sometimes I think blank," and it's a pretty long blank, "crafts these questions to tease me," from Blank's diary. So what makes this one interesting is, so I first heard about it when I got a DM from a girl named Ella. Ella apparently doesn't have a Dragon Age specific account, so wanted me to tell people on her behalf. So thank you, Ella, for sending this to me. But I have seen other people say the same thing. Um, but she was saying she like sent me these legit screenshots of like zooming in on the very last where it says from Blank's diary and tracing the letters, and she says I am like, you know, whatever percent, she said sure that this is Emrich diary, from Emrich diary, Emrich being the like elderly Mornwatch mage from the story Down Among the Dead Men. Which I should also say that during her interview, let me pull up the quote. Sylvia said, "Hi, I'm a senior writer on Dreadwolf. I wrote one of the two codex entries, Misconceptions About Necropolis, as well as the character who penned the entry." Um, Now, that's not like confirming that this is a companion, but like if you're going to say that you wrote the character and is something that's like earlier, a lot of people are assuming that Emrich is going to be a companion. So that's, and like or the other one I've also seen is that Emrich has a skeletal um companion called Manfred, and he's like a little butler servant that's a skeleton that kind of hisses and do whatever. And in the images that we have seen, there is a skeletal faced dude that's like has green fire on his head. So is it
Mm-hmm.
Emrich or his butler Manfred? And one of our companions is just a skeleton that like all the time, which would be kind of funny. So yeah, I've seen either one of those two as what this is referring to. So maybe Emrich can't fight, but his butler can, or Emrich is fighting, and or maybe it's both of them. I don't know. As for the other blank, because it says sometimes I think blank crafts these questions to tease me. Ella also, she says that the first letter looks a lot like a V, and she can't really make a lot else out. And together, mostly her, because at the time I was so focused on everything else, I was like, I can't even think of a V name other than Varric, but it's too long to be Varric. So her suggestions were it could be Vivian, but it looks a little bit long for that. It could be Varric's full name, Varric Tethris, or it could be Vitasala, which is an interesting one, because there is a Vitasala in Winter Nights, I think, if I'm remembering her name right. There are Vitasalas in general. It's just a Canori job. So that's that one. So yeah, the I guess the most exciting thing about this whole whatever is that Emrich is either a companion or a character, or maybe Manfred is just like he's somewhere involved in this, which maybe we knew beforehand. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess it's more solid on the companion-ish area. Maybe he's even a like a Josephine Cullen. He's like an advisor or something about weird undead bullshit. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I had the same reaction to the way that sentence by Sylvia is phrased about wrote the character who penned the entry. It's like, well, most likely that's either a companion or, as you point out, an advisor, which is, I guess, exciting in a way, even though they tried to like block out the name. People are sleuthing things. Props to Ella for doing that to
yeah,
pick out
and
the letters.
Ella's not the only one I wanted. Like there have been others. Just Ella was the first one to be like I was notified of.
Yeah.
I've seen other people basically do the same thing.
Right.
So yeah, so yeah, I guess it's interesting. Like, this might be. I don't want to say the first confirmation because it's really not confirmation, but this could be the first hint of a companion that's like the most solid thing we've had at this
Yeah.
point.
This has to be intentional, right?
Oh, probably. Like, yeah, I can't honestly, just from like the feel of the rest of the post, I feel like it is going to be a companion, but like, you know, I don't know.
Because like the scratching out of the name, when especially that part at the bottom, like if you don't want that to show, you could just crop out. You don't have to have that last part of the image even, or just properly block out the name. Like the fact that it was sort of scratched out to me almost suggests it's supposed to be one of those things they're hoping people
see.
fish out.
And like some of the other ones, like if we go to the next one, which is Blank Talks Dragon Visomer, you have no fucking idea who's talking about the dragon. It's thoroughly scratched out. The Emmerich one, they left a fair amount of pixels there to figure it out.
Heck yeah, absolutely.
So and even with the whatever the V name is, I guess I'm of the opinion is probably Varric Tethris. It does kind of sound clunky though. Sometimes I think Varric Tethris crafts these questions that tease me, like why would you use your first and last name? But the guy, there was actually there was a short story about Emmerich that came out not too long, actually a year ago. So yeah, that's just more he's companion fodder or whatever. He did kind of speak proper if I'm remembering the short story. So yeah, maybe he just talks in first and last names, which would be something. I don't know. Well, let's move on to Blank Talks the Dragon Visomer. So this one is I guess my main question with this one is that we did have not a codex, what would you call it? Concept art of a lot of people swimming underwater. And people are like, ooh, we're going to be able to swim underwater. And this is talking about a dragon swimming underwater.
Correct.
So people are like, ooh, water dragon fights. And I suddenly get flashback to Blitzball and Final Fantasy X and go, God, please, no. I hate water levels. No. But yeah, it's just talking about how the dragon Visomer, which I think that was the one at Crestwood. I'll have to Google that real quick. But yeah, how the dragon who is alive apparently, that I'm a little confused on that because I thought I don't know if Visomer is like a breed of dragons, like you would say like a corgi or a labradoodle or whatever the fuck. If it's something like that, or if the dragon is so cool they named the dragon Visomer. I don't know. But if this is just like a random dragon called Visomer, like a breed, then yeah, they're just kind of talking about how the dragon eats and stuff, and that she's not attacking Blank unless they get close to her lair.
Let me guess, Caitie. I gotta guess.
All right, here we go.
It's a completely dumb guess. I'm just thinking of it literally right here, right now. So it's probably a dumb guess.
Okay.
It's Griffins, right?
Oh, Jordan, that's brilliant.
What other thing would you block out? Like, there's no point in blocking it out.
Block out? And it looks like it ends in an end too, actually.
Griffins.
It's Griffins, Jordan. You nailed it. That has to be Griffins.
Boom. Exalted March coming in for something useful.
That also works in the. She's also not attacking Griffins unless they get close to her lair. Then she kills them fast. I think she's. But yeah, it. You know what? Hold on. We're gonna do some detective work. We're gonna pull this. I wish I knew what font this was so I can do it exactly. So we're gonna save this image.
We're gonna put the word Griffins over it.
That's exactly what I'm fucking doing. Look, this is scientific. This is
internet detectives figuring shit out
like losers. Okay.
By the time this episode posts, somebody else is already gonna figure it out.
Yeah, actually, we might. I don't know if someone's already done this before. How do you fucking use
computers?
Paint again? What's the closest font to this? Would it be? It's not Helvetica, would it?
Maybe just like Arial or something. Like, this is a pretty generic looking sans serif.
Can I make it white? Is that too hard? Paint? Is that too hard? Because I can't fucking see what I'm doing. Oh god, paint is just a bullshit program.
And
Like,
and this one
Jesus.
was written by Weeks, right? The one about Vince Helmer. I think so. Yes, it says
Oh,
so
was
in the
it? Oh,
blog
it
entry.
does. Okay, yeah.
I love it just because it's like it's dragon shit and like talking about the diet and what the dragon eats, etc., etc. Is I like little details like that.
No, it's good. Yeah. God, fucking. I can't change the color of the font. Okay, that. Fuck this program. Just fuck this program. How do I? Okay, text view home. I need to. Can I move it? All right. Okay. It's not exact. It's not an exact science, but I will say it. Griffins does fit perfectly in that little space if you use Arial and put it to like what size is this? Like 20, 24 or something like that. So yeah, it would fit perfectly. That had I think you nailed it. I think that is supposed to be griffins.
Yeah.
Excuse
I
me.
could see it. I mean, I think many people have been talking about the possibility of griffins, and we've talked about it and how cool would it be. It's cool if they're in there, and this might just be like a small reference to that, but I think
Now,
that's the only reason why they'd block it out.
now I will say, actually, maybe I take things back because where I think the N should be, there's no room for an S, I suppose. So she's not attacking Griffin.
Okay.
Isn't it? Maybe it's a typo. It's supposed to be Griffin, and they just forgot about the S. Nah, that'd be too easy. So maybe it's not Griffins. I don't know.
And Thetis is the plural of Griffin.
Maybe. That might
Unless
be.
they get close to her lair. That's interesting. Then she kills them fast.
Yeah. I mean, it might also be a like monster. Like we see those like dark spawn zombies. Maybe it's the name of the dark spawn zombies that we don't know the name of.
Interesting.
I guess that's where before you said griffins, that's what I was thinking it was. I haven't. So whatever those dark spawn zombies are called, they have a pretty short, punchy name that they've given it. Oh, whatever that is.
Right.
Um, we didn't say zombies. I don't know. So I get yeah okay. I like griffin. I think like I guess my only I don't know. From a lore perspective, I'm unsure if it would be griffins because it's been about 10 years or so since griffins were rehatched in Weishaupt, and I don't know how many there would be left to like just chill out by a dragon. Like I feel like that implies there's a fairly substantial population of griffins.
Yeah, the Griffins would have had to been real busy over the course of
Yeah.
10 years.
And I don't think griffins like I thought griffins were like breeding wise more akin to horses, and I don't think I think it was like I forget how many eggs. Was it like 7 or something? I don't know, 7 eggs. I don't think 7 horses in 10 years could create a population big enough to
Yeah, that's not
be
it. You can't
wild.
be if you want to repopulate Thetis with Griffins, you can't be akin to horses. You got to be akin to like horny Twitter. That's the only way you could possibly get that shit done.
Yeah, probably. Something like that. So okay, I really want it to be griffins, and griffins looks like it could almost work if it wasn't plural. I'll say that. Okay. Um Yeah, like who knows? Maybe they just pull out a thing like, well, we want like people to have griffin. Like, I don't know. Maybe they're trying to make griffin mounts or something, and like, oh, we found a pocket of griffins just in this fucking no place.
I mean,
I
I
don't
wouldn't
know.
complain because if Griffins are like if Griffins are just there for background or story, that's cool too. Don't get me wrong. But if there's fucking Griffin gameplay, which I know is just I'm pulling that out of thin air, but that would be the most incredible thing ever in
Yeah,
Dragon Age.
I will say through all the concept art, we have not seen any griffin stuff. So other than like Grey Warden armor, but if that even counts.
I just want shit to fly. That's all I'm saying. I just
Oh
want
no,
to
I
fly
agree with
around
you.
with some shit.
Then I would love if they scalp the flying mechanic from Anthem, where instead of like you're flying in a suit, you're flying on a griffin.
Oh yeah, there was a mod for Andromeda that was a jetpack mod, and that was so much fun. And you just sit there and you go like, as much as perhaps not everyone enjoyed Anthem, it's like there's some stuff there that's like, hey, we could do that. That's cool. The flying was really fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Who
Yeah,
do you
okay.
think is talking dragon?
That I don't know. Maybe it is another companion. That's the word. I am so bad with language. Oh my god. I don't talk to anyone for 2 months other than my husband and a baby, and I can't say like, "Do you want to go potty?" Oh, good job,
Look,
sweetheart.
look, Caitie. There is probably a Patreon tier for that. That would not be.
No, stop. Don't do that.
It might be one person out there, but I bet you there's somebody out there who's like, give it to us.
Be my mommy. But like,
I'm
not
horrified at how many Patreon tiers there are that like you read it and you sit there and you go, how on God's green earth is this a Patreon tier?
I'll say this. Times are tough. I get it. I get it. I don't even judge anymore. You know, you got a Patreon tier to smash pudding with your feet. Yeah. All right. I get it. Pudding's cheap and they pay you $100. You know what? Not even going to say anything.
I don't ever. Well, I'm not gonna say I don't judge because I judge the fuck out of it, but I don't want to stop it. Judging's not the same thing as prohibiting. That's just, some people enjoy partaking. I enjoy judging. It's all good. Judging's just free. Don't be mad at me.
Yeah, I guess I don't blame the content creators because, like, again, times are tough. They're just trying to get paid. The people that buy that, it's like, okay, that's a little.
I believe in the free market. If there's a customer for it, sell it 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
All right, so we don't know who's talking about this.
No, we got nothing.
Is our conclusion here?
Yeah, I guess whoever it is, they're very like blunt and scientific.
That should be good. We were saying we didn't know who was talking about the dragon, and then I think that's
I guess to quickly explain the interruption of conversation, my internet dropped, and so did I, and now we're trying to figure out if we lost half an episode or not. We're just going to continue on, assuming we did not. Anyway,
and also we don't know who's talking about that fucking dragon.
Yeah, no, I got nothing. Their speech is like a little bit more scientific, I think, like a researcher or something, or someone that just really fucking likes dragons. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I guess someone that likes dragons, and maybe it's that there's like a dragon researcher in
not the hissing waste, but the other one.
Yeah, no, yeah, Western Approach. There you go. I don't think it's him though. I don't remember him talking like this. That guy was more give it a flair, and like he was a Orlesian. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this doesn't sound that Orlesian, but maybe it is. I don't remember his name though, and I don't remember if his name was that short. It could be, since they mentioned the writer of this codex entry. It might be that this is another companion character who likes dragons. I'm trying to think like what's like, I don't know. To me, an obvious character in the lineup that we've seen that likes dragons would be the Canary Lady, but that it could be Scout Harding. It could be Lace talks about dragons.
Yep.
Because I don't know. Everyone wants Scout Harding to be a companion. So. Yeah.
Like those whales. Which whales exactly?
Where is that in the behavior, or is that
appearance? It's the last sentence of appearance. And it says
like
those whales. Have there been any whales in any concept art or anything recently?
Someone actually asked me this. Like, where's whales mentioned in Thetis? And there are a couple like mentions of whales in Thetis. There's no like concept art of a whale that I can think of. But what does a Visomer look like? Let's Google that real quick. See what whale they're talking about.
I mean, the one from the game had like white and yellow.
Yeah, I don't really know what. Okay, so I was wrong on the. No, that is. What coast? Something coast? Storm Coast. There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not immediately saying it's belly. Yeah, I don't know what whale. I also don't know shit about shit on whales. But yeah, it kind of looks like just a black and white stripe on the belly. Is there a whale with black and white stripe? I can probably Google that.
It's also the coolest dragon. I mean, that's debatable, but I just like electricity dragon. Sue me.
Yeah, it's totally different though. Like a blue whale does have like a vertical black and white stripe to it, but it's not even close. Like it's a very thin white stripe with a thick black stripe. So maybe it's. I mean, it's a fantasy game. It could be a fantasy whale. It's not like this is some deep process here. But yeah, maybe we fight whales. I don't know. So yeah, there's a lot of people saying like, "Ooh, are we gonna be in the water? Are we gonna fight things in the water?" I will say maybe they can pull it off because they pulled off. Who knows? Maybe they make flying an Anthem basically swimming in Dragon Age. I could see that kind of working out. Um, I don't know if I've ever played a water level in literally any video game that was like, this is fun. There's just something about it that's terrible. I can't think of a water level that I'm like, hell yeah. Mario's,
do you know
Zelda's.
what's really good? I mean, I like some of the water levels in Zelda, but you know what's really good is Horizon Forbidden West.
To be fair, I have not played that.
Yeah, the underwater stuff is really quite good, especially when you get certain upgrades. It's really fun. They did a phenomenal job making the underwater parts look amazing. I've also liked some of the Assassin's Creed, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Assassin's Creed Origin. Not necessarily levels, but certain sections where you can like dive for sunken treasure or something like that, and it's pretty good. So I'm actually I've been playing some of those recently as I have time, and I don't know if it fits for Dragon Age necessarily as more of like a strategy RPG, at least to some people, but I wouldn't mind it. I mean, this is all just pulling it out of thin air, but like a ship, if we had a ship and there was actual gameplay associated with that, some of that in Assassin's Creed has been really quite good. I don't know if it fits for Dragon Age, but the idea of having a ship.
Yeah, Michael's the only Assassin's Creed game that I don't think he's ever played, but one he's ever enjoyed was Black Flag. He loved the ship on Black Flag. So maybe I can get him to play Dragon Age if I say, "Oh, it's the Black Flag of Dragon Age, Michael. You'll love it." And then I get him hooked. That's how I get him on my side.
I think even beside, like, if there's gameplay for it, that's great. But even beside that, like, it's fun to have a ship in an RPG. Like, you have a ship in Pillars of Eternity, too, and depending on how you look at it, there's gameplay for it, like in the little text choose your own adventure book style sequences. But for the most part, it's just kind of cool to have a ship and be like, I'm going to change the sails on it or change how the deck looks or the cabins. And like, I don't know. I think that's a fun, it's like base building, but you can take it out on the water and fight people with it.
Yeah, no, it is just base building. And I like base building things. So like, yeah, if they do like because if we're doing a lot of stuff with Canary and the Deventer, that's all kind of on the ocean, Ravane, like that's all on there. So that'd be kind of fun to sail around on. If nothing, and hey, there was a concept art of someone that looked like a lot like Isabella, and she has a boat. So I don't know, maybe. Now don't get your hopes up for boat because probably we'll say all this bullshit, and like years down the line when the games come out, they'll say like, "Boat, what the fuck? What were you on? Where did the boat come in?
What were we talking about?"
Yeah, why did we say a boat? I'm sure that if hopefully the game never comes out and we listen to what was that tweet that we got recently?
Somebody was listening to old episodes. So this is from @JuniperJawbones, who said, re-listening to old episodes of Split the Veil and cracking up at how many times Ghildirthalen and Exalted March say something along the lines of, do you really think we won't see DA4 until 2022? We were all so full of hope back then. Also, I missed Jordan's mic glitch. So that was funny.
Now you got my mic glitch where I'm easing in and out for whatever reason. And I am trying my best to stay still and it still happens. So, which is probably worse as it's less fun.
I would randomly get too loud and you would randomly get too quiet.
Yeah, it's doing great.
That tweet really is, though, indicative of like, it's been a long time since, say, Inquisition came out. And so the time scale we just reasonably thought that we were dealing in has changed like at least twice.
Yes.
Yeah. Where like in a post Inquisition world, it's very reasonable to think that like the maximum was going to be 2019. But then as Anthem came out, we kind of thought maybe it's a couple of years after that. And then as COVID happened, and also we began to learn more about what was going on behind the scenes in development, it's like, okay, maybe it'll be a couple more years now.
Yeah. So it's been a lot, and it's also like what I was going to say going on this is like it's been however many years. I think it's around 5 years that we've been doing this. We have 5 years of bullshit that we've said. And like at the time we said those things, they made sense, but like things have come out that now it's bullshit. And probably as the game comes out, we will have learned we have said more bullshit. So it is what it is. And that's just how it goes. So yeah, I can't wait for like that couple months after the game comes out where we just look like big clowns.
We're gonna be sitting here going like, Griffins. Obviously it wasn't Griffins.
Why would I say Griffins? God. You know what? I'll be honest. What I'm more afraid of is the game comes out. It sucks ass. And I mean, period. There you go. But no, the game sucks ass. And then we have journalists who are covering how much this game has been wanting to come out, and they sort through our bullshit and like try to quote us on how disappointed or whatever we are. Like, oh yeah, however many years ago they said this. Like, I'm just waiting for some over enthusiastic journalist or something to get up on our face like, oh, how disappointed are you on a scale of 1 to 10? I don't like. I remember there being some hubbub when Anthem came out and wasn't great. Of like, oh, there's Anthem content creators already. Look at that, wow, and they're already not too happy about the current state of things or whatever. So like, I don't know.
It's been a long time, and I think everyone's all in the same boat of like, we've had years of speculation at this point. It's only fun if you think of it from the standpoint of like, you don't look back at it. I mean, that's really the only way that it's fun. Is like you say some shit in the moment. You don't say it with the intention that it's actually that you're gonna nail some prediction, because basically nobody's gonna nail any of the predictions, and if they do, it's basically blind luck.
Yeah, basically. So, and I guess that's where we'll wrap it today, because I gotta go. But all right, Jordan, where can they find you?
They can find me at the Exalted March on YouTube and even sometimes on Twitter. Caitie, where can the folks find you?
They can find me on YouTube and Twitter as Ghildirthalen, and I say that though, despite having not posted in a while. New content hopefully coming soon. After I stop coughing all the time, so I can properly record. Jordan, I'm so sorry you have to edit all my coughs out. And with that, Dereshirall.